Hi everyone, hope you can all hear me. I'm back. It is the feminazi movement. I have returned. I know I have been gone for a very, very, very long time, which I am extremely apologetic for. Basically, I've been diagnosed with fibromyalgia in my absence. I've been feeling really poorly, to be honest, so I haven't been able to be here for you guys, which I fully apologise for. I'm starting to kind of be able to manage it better, so that's awesome. But I thought, obviously, you guys deserve to know why I haven't been here, but I am starting to manage it a lot better. So this is me back. I will be here as much as I possibly can, even if it is on a bed day in my bedroom with my stuffies. If it has to be done, it has to be done. I'm here. But so with that out of the way, because this is not about me, this channel is nothing to do with me, this is all about you guys. That's what I want this to be. I want this to be a real hub for men to be able to come here and have a place to go, you know, this is what we need. Why isn't anybody saying this? Why isn't anybody doing this? This channel is for you. And if you guys have any opinions or any hot topics that you'd like me to pick up on, please do drop a comment. I will pick up on them. Sometimes not straight away, but I will pick up on them, and I will see what I can do when it comes to looking at some issues that you guys would like to see on the channel. That being said, today I am talking about men and mental health. It is more severe when it comes to men. A lot of people don't realise that men go through it a lot more than women do, which is disgusting, to be honest. I don't understand how this has been let happen, if that makes sense. Like, for example, I have a really good friend of mine, really good friend, love him to pieces. He's a lovely guy. He's like literally a top bloke, love him. And he's really struggled with his mental health to a point that I didn't realise that it had been as severe as it had. My partner's also had problems with his mental health. He has attempted suicide in the past as well. I have got other friends, male friends, that have attempted suicide as well. It's a massive problem. It's a massive problem nobody's talking about, nobody wants to fix or solve. It's like mental health is one of those battles as well, which is hard enough already. I mean, I remember leaving care when I turned 21. My social worker left, and so did the child and adolescent mental health services, and then they were like, awesome, you're 21 now, off you go, you can deal with this. And it was like, what do we do now? Like, who do I ask for help? And I know how bad it can feel to really desperately feel like you need help right at that moment and not being able to get it. I fully understand how hard that can be. I have had amples of battles with the mental health services here to reassess me, and just to see me, just, you know, you can't. There's so much of a problem with this, because I mean, I've been assessed by one place which now won't reassess me because I've been assessed, even though it was about 6 years ago that they assessed me. A lot changes in 6 years. How can you refuse to see somebody on the basis that you saw them 6 years ago? So I'm completely on track with the whole, I understand how all of these things are making it so much harder for people to seek help in the first place. You're making it a battle that it just doesn't need to be. And I mean, I wanted to delve particularly into some of the statistics surrounding men and mental health. So I thought we'd kind of start there. I have kind of got a webpage open because I've got a really rubbish brain that doesn't keep anything in it. So I'm going to delve into a few facts. So, for example, in the Men's Health Forum, these statistics are from 73% of adults who go missing are men. 73% of adults who go missing are men. That's literally what 73 did I say? Yeah, that's 27% are only women. Only 7%. So why isn't there more of a big movement then for men who go missing? Like, why have we not heard of this? It's like, if something is big enough, you've heard of it. It's like, for example, I go to the doctors, there's a leaflet there about testicular cancer and about playing with your balls to make it a bit funny so that guys will actually touch their balls and look for lumps. Like, you know, like you hear about it, you see these things in places that you go. Why haven't I seen anything for men who go missing then? Why haven't I seen any helplines as well for blokes who need to leave home? Or, you know, why haven't we seen this? Why is it not there? This is the point. Why are these services not there? Why are they not accessible, that accessible for people? 73% of adults who go missing are men. Like, I mean, I could just be being really blonde here. I am naturally blonde. I could be just being really blonde here. Or is that really, really stupid? Like, where, you know, I mean, I remember growing up, I had Childline. And now, as an adult, I know there's Samaritans, which neither have any kind of sex attached to them. But it's like, for example, as well, like, look at domestic violence, the amount of women, like the amount of men who go through domestic violence, but yet when it's looked at, everyone generalizes it around women because, oh my God, a woman in a domestic violence situation. But I read about a man, like literally, I think it was last week, I read the story and it was horrendous about this bloke whose missus was so abusive, and he, like, she got like boiling kettles of water and like scalded his parts, and it was just like, why is this not more out there? Why is this not more out there? And it's like, I was looking at this YouTube channel about a couple of weeks ago with a friend, and I was like, whoa, one of my videos has got like 40,000 views. And it was like, wow, that's amazing. And then it's like, hang on, actually stop and think for a second. It's because I'm one of the only very few people out here that are actually doing this and actually saying that this isn't right. And actually we need to be doing things for blokes as well. Why is it women's domestic violence? Why is it women who go missing? That's so scary. If a woman goes missing, oh my God, get a search party out. A man goes missing and he's expected to take care of himself and to be able to take care of himself. That is pathetic. That is actually pathetic. How can we as a society expect anybody to go anywhere that we don't know and be fine? Would you leave a 15-year-old teenage boy outside on his own, not knowing where he is? No, his parents, you would panic. You would go, where is my child? Regardless of whether they're a boy or a girl. There are even still some parents where their child at the age of 15, who is a boy, will go out, leave the house, and those parents will be like, it's fine, boys will be boys, that's fine. Hang on, what if he's got himself into a really dangerous situation? It just makes no sense. Why are these questions not being asked? Right, 87% of those sleeping rough are men. So you've also got 87% of people sleeping rough are men. Okay, that is, again, exactly like the other statistic. It's dreadful. 95% of the prison population is made up by men, with 72% of male prisoners suffering from 2 or more mental disorders. Like, let's just take that in for a second. That over 70% of prisoners, male prisoners, have 2 or more mental disorders. That isn't like 70% of prisoners have a mental disorders. That's over 70% have 2 or more mental disorders. Men, male prisoners, 70 odd % have 2 or more mental disorders. Less male disorders. Like seriously, like, just let that sink in for a bit. That over 70% of men in prison have 2 or more mental disorders. It's probably either A, linked to the fact because they're in prison, or B, linked to the fact of that's how they ended up in prison, because they have mental health problems. I have mental health problems. I have borderline personality disorder. Now, for me, that can mean that I can get myself into some pretty dreadful situations, and I have done. Growing up, I got myself into some really horrific situations. My dad wasn't about because my mum didn't let him. I didn't have a strong male role model kind of properly growing up. What I did see of my dad, though, oh my God, I loved him so much and I missed him so much. But it's like, I've been in that place where, because of my mental health, I can get into those situations, and it's very easy to slip down that slope and not realise you're slipping. And it's like, for example, if we talk about antisocial personality disorder. Antisocial personality disorder does not mean somebody does not like people, like in a general kind of, I'm antisocial and I hate people, which isn't even what antisocial means. That would be asocial. Somebody who is asocial does not like people. Somebody who is antisocial breaks laws, doesn't like rules, goes against any kind of authority. Before the age of 18, it is known to be a conduct disorder. And then at the age of 18, you can kind of be diagnosed then with the antisocial personality disorder, which is also kind of sociopaths, psychopaths fit into the antisocial personality disorder bracket. So ASPD for short. But I'm pretty certain, I'm going to Google this to check because I'm on live stream. I didn't prepare this, didn't think about it. But I'm pretty sure more people with ASPD are male. ASPD men. Okay, yeah, the condition is much more common in men than women. Around 3% of men have it and 1% of women. It's a really hard condition for a lot of people to live in. I actually run a support group on Facebook for people with ASPD and BPD. It's called Antisocial Personality Disorder and Borderline Personality Disorder Hub. It is on Facebook, but it is a very hard condition to deal with. And a lot of the time, people with that condition, mainly men, because it is mainly men that have it, they go unnoticed, they go unrecognised, they're not diagnosed. A lot of the time, people with this condition will get themselves into trouble, which will lead them having to get help because they've got into trouble. So, like, for example, they'll go out and they'll break a law. Let's say they'll rob a car, because that's breaking a law, and they'll go to prison. They'll have to speak to somebody and a couple more people to find out why they did it. Then it'll get brought up in court that actually this person has an antisocial personality disorder. Then they'll get forced by the court to seek therapy or seek help or to go wherever. And this is what's happening. It is very common for a lot of people with ASPD to get themselves into trouble before getting the help. It shouldn't be like that either. And I think a lot of the time that, again, is because it is male dominated and men don't feel like they can come out and speak about these things for fear of being ridiculed. Why is it okay for me to sit here and say, I have borderline personality disorder, I have depression, I struggle with my mental health on a daily basis, and sometimes I hate myself? Why is that so okay for me to say that, for people to be, oh, you know, I'm really sorry you're going through that. That's really bad. Like, you know, how can we help? And, you know, why is that like that? But as soon as a bloke sits down with a bunch of his mates and goes, guys, I've been feeling really down lately, you know, that the reaction they'll get is, oh, it's all right, mate, come on, you know, we'll just get a few pints down you. You know, that is, and do you know what the worst thing is? It's literally the mentality. That is literally the mentality. It actually sickens me. It stresses me out and it sickens me that literally, like, men as a whole are being left to deal with all of these issues. It shouldn't be happening. It's not right. I don't agree with it. It's disgusting. I think there should be more help. And I think that if anybody is watching this video and anybody has dealt with any of these issues, or is dealing with any of these issues, or is even struggling to deal with these issues, please, 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 I will tell you now, please feel free to comment, to message me any way possible that you can find if you need help. I'm more than open to speaking to anybody in this world that is going through any problems. I'm more than open to be there for anyone that genuinely needs that. I've got the time of day for anybody that is going through any problems. I don't understand why more people aren't like that. If we were more in touch as a society, if we were more in touch as people, I think that we wouldn't really be where we are now in the world. The way that everything is in society, the way that men are ridiculed, the way that women are like, oh, we want all of this. Give us this right, give us this right, give us this right. And now I don't think you should be doing that. I don't think you have the right to do that. It's, fair play. I mean, like, literally the most ridiculous thing that could happen is somebody could comment on this video saying, but women's rights gave you the ability to go on YouTube and to shout out your loud mouth about the fact that men don't have rights now because women do. It's like, okay, yeah, you could totally do that, but that's why I'm having to do this. If we hadn't got to this point, I wouldn't have to do this. I don't feel like these YouTube videos are even something that I necessarily enjoy. It is literally something that I feel like I have to do because it is so unfair what has been done. And if nobody else is going to do anything about it, then, well, I don't see anybody else here. I'll stand up and do something about it then. It's not fair. It's not right. So we're going to start delving into some more kind of pretty hard-hitting statistics now. If anybody watching this video does have any issues, please seek help. If you're in the UK, Samaritans are available through, I believe the phone number is 116123. If you're a Cambridgeshire resident, you can call the NHS 111 number and press option 2 to speak to somebody when you're in a mental health crisis. They can invite you sometimes to a place called the Sanctuary. I've been to the Sanctuary. Our one's pretty nice, actually. It's like literally sitting in a living room. It's like literally going and sitting in a living room and just chilling. Like, you can just do what you want there. You can talk to them. You can draw something if you really want to. I used to do art therapy. That was awesome. Some of the best therapy of my life was art therapy. So, that's a really good place to reach out to. I don't obviously A, have the time, or B, have the knowledge to go through every single mental health support place for everywhere. These are just the two main ones that I know of. I do believe America have a lot of hotlines for it as well. If you don't know where you can get help, please, 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 please comment, and I will find you help. I'm like an internet wizard. Give me 10 minutes, I'll find anything you want. So yeah, comment, message a friend, call a loved one, call Samaritans, call a helpline if you really, really do need urgent help right this second. So moving on, depression in men. So it says here that with men in suicide, 4 out of 5 men commit suicide. 4 out of 5 men commit suicide. That's baffling. I mean, what's the male population roughly in the world? Let's find out. Let's do some maths. I'm rubbish at maths. You guys probably worked this out way before me. But let's do some really crap math. So in 2010, approximately 151.8 million people were men in the world. So let's go to calculator. And then let's do divided by okay. So in 2010, with 4 out of 5 men committing suicide, that means that 121.4 million men would have committed suicide. Literally, like 120 million men. 120 million. I mean, if you think about that on like a worldly scale, that could be a family member, that could be the guy who drives your bus in the morning, your local taxi driver, your local shopkeeper, you know, it could be the guy you passed in the street yesterday. That is how severe this is on a massive scale. It is a mass problem. Male suicide is a mass problem. 120 million men in 2010 approximately then would have committed suicide. How does this happen and nobody says it or sees it? You know, they say like ignorance is bliss, and it's things like this that people are ignorant about that they shouldn't be, because it's being ignorant about it that leads to 120 million men killing themselves in 2010 roughly. You know, this is what's happening. You know, people so hung up on female mental health, but 120 million. I mean, I can't stress that enough. I just can't believe it. For men under 35, suicide is the biggest cause of death. I mean, that's just... You just can't believe it, can you? I mean... Men's mental health. Mind are a very good website. I like this. They've got an article called Man Up, Getting More Men in Mental Health, which is really good. It's things like telling people to man up and things like that do cause this. I mean, if my half's got the flu, don't get me wrong, like not actually the flu. If he's got like man flu, I will totally tell him to man up. But if he comes to me and he says, babe, I'm really hurting right now, I just the thought of him feeling that way to me is just so painful. Like, I would do anything to change that for him, just like I know for a fact he would do anything to change that for me when I'm having a bad day, when I'm really struggling with my mental health. And I would do that for any guy that I know that's dealing with mental health problems. I would be there for anybody that needs it, you know. And this video isn't a whole women's mental health doesn't count or matter, but it is a whole actually men are getting the brunt of it and nobody's listening. Nobody is listening. Nobody is taking the time to listen. How hard is it to just take 10 minutes to sit, be, and just listen? I mean, there's so much out there about mindfulness these days. Mindfulness is an amazing technique, which I completely wish I could master. It is invaluable. Mindfulness is about being present, about knowing exactly how you're feeling, being mindful about how you're feeling exactly at that moment, about the sensations, about things that are going on around you. Like, if I was to practice mindfulness right now, I would realise that my body is very tense. I keep holding my breath because this is making me very angry. It makes me so angry, and it really does upset me. But by doing mindfulness, I'm able to recognise those feelings, and like the physical feelings where I can feel my body tensing up, I can feel my shoulders hunching up. That is a really good technique if you've got mental health problems. But even if you haven't, just to take that time out just to recognise yourself and what's going on around you, it makes a big difference. Being mindful makes a big difference. So I would definitely I really want to say recognise, it's not the right word, recommend that to anybody struggling with mental health. Again, but yeah, you know, I suppose my point is, if you're a bloke and you're watching this video, don't bully your mate because he broke up with his girlfriend. You know, you have no idea how he's really burning up inside. Like, you know, stop putting your mate down because he didn't manage to get a goal when you played football. You know, like literally the most ridiculous things you guys do to each other. And it is basically adult bullying. You basically bully each other, which is all very well if you know somebody well enough. But I mean, there's a lot of times that my friends upset me and don't even realise because they don't understand my mental health problem. You know, you just have to be careful. Just be mindful. Be careful of each other. And just support each other. That's all I'm saying. Just support each other. Just love one another and support each other. And as I said, any comments I will aim to get back to as soon as possible. And I am back. So in the meantime, need anything, shout to me, guys. Got any ideas for the channel, give me a shout as well. And I am back and I am staying, and I shall see you